Look like more evidence is coming out about Bria Hartley and the Sophie Cunningham attack. So, guys, it looked like more evidence is definitely coming out of the pipeline in regards to Sophie Cunningham and Bria Hartley. Now, we know there was a situation that took place in the second quarter of the game, possibly at the 8-minute, 9-second mark. That is a Bria Hartley, diving into the knees of Sophie Cunningham. Now, we know that play has since went viral. And I'm here to tell you more news is coming out in regards to Bria Hartley.
Bria Hartley was just out here, minding her own business. Then bam, one photo of her cracking up at Sophie Cunningham surfaces online. And suddenly it's blowing up faster than a cat in a shark suit riding a Roomba. Was she throwing shade? Was it straight comedy? Or did Sophie just have one of those, wait, did I leave the oven on faces? Nobody can say for sure, but the memes are in overdrive. Fans are losing it, and this thing is getting juicier than a watermelon in July.
Well, unfortunately, as of this second, we don't have an official update on Sophie Cunningham's injury. But what we do have is we've got one quote-unquote injury expert out there that did weigh in based on the camera angles of Sophie Cunningham's injury. We've also got a very interesting picture that has emerged with Bria Hartley smiling and laughing over this incident of Sophie Cunningham being hurt.
The internet works in mysterious ways. 1 minute, folks are locked in heated debates about politics, pineapple on pizza, or the black hole that swallowed their AirPods. The next, the entire timeline is fixated on one blurry picture of a basketball player. Laughing. That's right. Not a buzzer beater, not a broken record, not even a highlight dunk. Just a laugh.
We have to talk about it. We have to talk about this because obviously she went down. Sorry. And we got to look at the clips right here. So we're going to talk a little bit about whether or not I believe that it was just completely accidental or whether or not there was some intent in this. So we're watching this right here. Bria Hartley comes up for the layup. She throws the pass and she immediately falls down on Sophie Cunningham's leg. So let's slow this down right here and let's basically watch this frame by frame. Let's watch this frame by frame. So Bria Hartley is throwing a pass right here. Kelsey Mitchell helps in. Sophie Cunningham, in fairness, is not fully helped over. Sophie Cunningham should be a step or two out in this scenario.
All it took was one perfectly timed snapshot. Bria Hartley grinning, while Sophie Cunningham just happened to share the frame. Instantly, social media went off like someone tossed a match into a gas can. Bria wasn't trending for dropping 30, locking down on defense, or hitting a clutch buzzer beater. Nope, she was trending for laughing. Picture some future historian digging through digital archives and finding this gem. On this day, humanity paused a debate whether Bria Hartley's smile was innocent joy or a carefully executed act of shade towards Sophie Cunningham.
It's very, very sad and unfortunate what has happened to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here. I can't play you the video because I did one and they flagged it and copyrighted all types of stuff. So I cannot show you the video, but Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty, dirty player. And if y'all go to my video last night, you will see me saying, watch out for Bria Hartley because she's a dirty ass.
And someday, future historians might actually have to crank out dissertations about this moment. But let's hit rewind, because to understand why this laugh lit the internet on fire, you need to know who Bria Hartley is. She's not some wide-eyed rookie who tripped into the spotlight by chance. Bria's been in the league, grinding, building her reputation with skill, toughness, and that quiet kind of confidence that doesn't need smoke machines or fireworks to make an entrance.
It's interesting, this injury expert speculates, doesn't think it's an ACL, maybe an MCL, or the thing that I considered when I saw it. I thought her knee dislocated is what I thought I saw, okay? Hell, I'm no doctor. I can tell you that right now, and we'll look at that in a second. But I got to tell you, this picture And let me just show you right here. This is some video, of course, of her. Let me just turn this down. Limping off the court yesterday. The good thing is she did walk off the court, folks. You gotta say.
Bria Hartley has been underrated for years. The kind of player who can slide into any system and instantly add value. Coaches know it. Teammates know it. And now, thanks to one candid laugh that somehow spiraled into an international incident, fans are finally catching on that Bria's always carried a certain aura. She's not loud, not messy, not chasing headlines. What she does have is timing. On the court, that shows up as sharp cuts, sneaky defensive reads, and pulling the trigger on a jumper at just the right second. Off the court, apparently, that same timing means her face gets captured in the precise millisecond Sophie Cunningham happens to be nearby. Coincidence? Maybe. Comedy gold? Absolutely. And let's be real, this photo doesn't blow up if it's anyone else standing next to Bria. Because Sophie Cunningham is, well, Sophie Cunningham. She's got a gravitational pull for drama. The league's ultimate agitator. The player who doesn't just hoop. She plays psychological warfare at the same time. She's built a career out of getting under people's skin, and she does it proudly as when you play Sophie, the chaos queen, in the same frame as Bria, the unbothered vet. You don't just get a photo. You get something that feels staged by destiny itself. It's practically cinematic.
Goes and rises. Sophie Cunningham should be a little bit more over. She throws the pass. She is off balance by the looks of things here. She kind of falls and then takes Sophie Cunningham down with her. It's hard to tell. And like, look, this is one of those things where it's like, if this wasn't Bria Hartley, I don't think anyone would be questioning if this whether or not this was intentional. And then I've seen this one right here, Bria Hartley after it, where she's smiling, and I'm like, I don't know.
Sophie's there, existing in her natural state of competitive combustion, while Bria's beside her cracking up like she just heard the funniest joke on earth. And that's all it took. The internet didn't just see a laugh. They saw a declaration, a manifesto, a perfectly packaged vial of shade that could be sold at Sephora. Suddenly, Bria's chuckle was being treated like a Shakespearean soliloquy. Interpretations flooded in. She's laughing at Sophie's trash talk. She's laughing at Sophie's reputation. She's laughing because Sophie probably just flopped again. Or the classic. She's laughing simply because Sophie Cunningham exists. Never mind if Bria was actually reacting to a teammate's joke 3 feet away or something completely off camera. Context didn't matter. What mattered was a vibe. And honestly, this is nothing new for Sophie. Viral moments follow her around like a shadow. Her resume is stacked with reactions, scuffles, and general antics that have fueled WNBA Twitter for years. She's the type of player fans either love for her fire or can't stand because she always seems to be right in the middle of the chaos.
So I'm seeing a lot of this right here. Everybody's saying, oh, Sophie just landed wrong. How is that Bria's fault? So what? Since I've been watching WNBA this year, I've noticed that Bria Hartley is the dirtiest player in the W. Now, if you don't think she's a dirty player, I ain't got no choice but to respect your opinion. See, this is what we got to understand. With a player like that's reckless with their movement, they don't care if you get hurt. See, she's not purposely trying to hurt you. She's just being extremely reckless and doesn't mind if you get hurt. There's a lot of that goes on in the WNBA. They do a lot of malicious shit, and they don't really care what the outcome is.
Love her or hate her, Sophie's entertaining. And every sport needs characters like that. But it also means that when she shows up in a photo like this, the instant assumption is that she's a target. That's the beauty of this viral snapshot. It shows almost nothing, yet it suggests everything. It's basically a Rorschach test for basketball fans. Bria's supporters saw her silently putting Sophie in her place with nothing more than a grin. Sophie loyalists rushed to insist it was just bad timing, totally out of context. Casual onlookers? They were just baffled that grown adults were writing think pieces about a laugh. Some fans crowned it the laugh heard around the league. Others declared it the ultimate clapback to Sophie's entire career. And plenty didn't bother with context at all. They just turned Bria's face into the internet's newest reaction meme for anything awkward or embarrassing. Then came the real comedy, the overanalysis. People zoomed in on the photo like it was a Zapruder film. Was Bria's gaze angled at Sophie? Did the tilt of her head line up perfectly? Or was it just coincidence? Was her smile aimed with laser precision? At that point, it wasn't just a laugh anymore. It was evidence, treated like an exhibit in a federal trial.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you too. Proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. Yep. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes, and we will never be counted out, because that is worth gold.
The internet instantly transformed into a jury of amateur detectives, ready to swear under oath that Bria Hartley committed first-degree shade. Meanwhile, Sophie, simply by existing in the frame, became the accidental centerpiece of the whole story. But if you followed her career, you know that's nothing new. Sophie Cunningham is basically a chaos magnet. She walks into a room, and somehow the temperature rises. It's her superpower. Some players dominate with pure athleticism, others with skill. Sophie? She dominates by sparking reactions. She feeds off the drama. So when this photo dropped, nobody hesitated. They assumed Sophie must have triggered something, and Bria's laugh was a clapback. But let's get this straight. This isn't about Bria being cruel or Sophie being oblivious. It's about the internet doing what it does best, turning a split-second laugh into a full-blown geopolitical crisis. Was it intentional shade or just a normal human moment? At this point, the truth doesn't even matter. The internet already ruled. Bria Hartley laughed. Sophie Cunningham got caught in the blast zone. And the rest of us? We're just here for the fireworks.
Man, let me find out these refs ain't doing their job and shit, man. I'm trying, I gotta do some research. I gotta see what the clip was where I was just scrolling like social media and I just seen the news, wherever. And I think her sister posted something about, the refs wasn't doing something right or calling the game, officiating the game a certain way that probably, was, I won't say responsible, but caused, whatever. I just gotta figure this shit out, man. Because it's Sophie Cunningham, right? I haven't watched that many games, watched some highlight stuff over the, past season and whatnot. So I know I'll tune in once the playoffs hit because that's just how I am with just WNBA, NBA, basketball in general.
The real magic of this viral moment isn't the photo itself. It's what the internet did with it. Sports fans are already world-class at blowing small things way out of proportion. But WNBA Twitter? They went for the gold. They treated Bria Hartley's laugh like it was a Dead Sea Scrolls, dissecting every pixel as if it held ancient secrets. Suddenly, people were zooming in on her teeth, breaking down the tilt of her cheekbones, and declaring that this wasn't casual amusement. It was precision-engineered mockery. One fan even argued Bria's laugh had levels. The warm-up chuckle, the mid-tier snicker, and the final punchline grin that screamed, "I cannot take this human seriously." Then came the captions. Everything from when your ex's new partner looks like a clearance mannequin to when Sophie Cunningham commits her fourth unnecessary foul in 5 minutes. The creativity was endless. At that point, the laugh wasn't even Bria's anymore. It belonged to the internet, a communal meme, an open-source project of pure comedy.
Sophie Cunningham was targeted, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Sophie Cunningham was targeted by Bria Hartley, and it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and play games and act like, she wasn't. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people can act like it's not all they want. I told you guys this girl was a dirty player. And that's all she did today was show how dirty she is. This is unfortunate. I don't know how the Indiana Fever can continue to survive these.
Sophie Cunningham, for her part, didn't need to say a single word. Her reputation did all the heavy lifting. Fans already had an entire library of Sophie's stories locked and loaded, just waiting to attach to this one snapshot. Theories spread faster than bad Wi-Fi. Some swore Sophie had just unleashed one of her trademark hard fouls, and Bria couldn't resist laughing. Others claimed Sophie dropped a trash talk line, so ridiculous that keeping a straight face was impossible. In those versions, Bria was a silent assassin, dismantling Sophie without speaking a syllable. Meanwhile, Team Sophie went into crisis mode, scrambling to defend her honor. They insisted it was just bad timing, that Bria wasn't even looking at Sophie, and that the internet was manufacturing drama out of pixels. The divide grew so intense you'd think the outcome mattered to world peace.
Start with just what I think looking at the injury mechanism in terms of potential severity, and then touch on whether or not I think this really should be a concern about the intentionality of this play. So first thing first, of course, we're dealing with a right knee injury for Cunningham, and this is going to be contact. Of course, the player for Connecticut is going to fall into the outside of her right knee, and what that's most likely going to do, we can't exactly see her foot position down here, but I think what this is causing is a forced valgus load from the outside of Cunningham's knee, pushing it.
Bria Hartley never set out to become the face of subtle shade, but that's exactly where we've landed. Her laugh now lives rent-free in people's heads, cemented as both a meme and a cultural moment. Sophie Cunningham, whether she likes it or not, became the foil, the character against whom Bria's laugh is forever defined. Together, they accidentally co-wrote one of the funniest chapters of the season. The irony? Bria might not have even been laughing at Sophie. It could have been a teammate, a coach, or some random fan yelling from the stands. But the internet doesn't care about facts. It cares about narratives. And this narrative was too perfect to resist. Bria laughed at Sophie, and now the way people see both of them is forever changed. Sophie has become the accidental antagonist, while fans turn themselves into scriptwriters, building storylines with reckless abandon. And now, every time they share the court, the stakes feel higher. Viewers will scan Sophie for a reaction. They'll watch Bria for even the faintest smirk. That laugh didn't just capture a moment. It set the stage. Whether the players like it or not, this is no longer just basketball. It's theater. And the audience? They're completely locked in.